It started with a single date. One coffee, one laugh, one walk back to the car. To Alex Turner, a 34-year-old software engineer in Phoenix, it had been unremarkable. A casual Saturday afternoon with a woman he had met on a dating app. Her name was Jenna. She was pretty in a quiet, almost unassuming way. Dark hair tucked behind her ears, nervous smile, voice soft but eager. They talked about dogs, bad traffic, and childhood memories. Nothing intense, nothing that screamed danger. But within hours of that date, Alex's phone began to light up. At first, he thought it was flattering. Jenna was sending sweet messages. "Had such a great time. Can't wait to see you again." Then, "You're the one. I feel it already." By midnight, he had more than 50 texts waiting for him. By the next morning, over 300. At first, Alex laughed it off, even showed his roommate. "Man, I must be irresistible." But the tone of the messages shifted. The sweet notes became obsessive, then controlling, then terrifying. By the third day, Alex had received 1,200 messages. Some said, "We are meant to be together forever." Others were darker. "If you leave me, you'll regret it." "I'm outside your window. I see you." Alex blocked her number, but that didn't stop Jenna. She downloaded texting apps, made fake accounts, switched phone numbers, even messaged him through online food delivery orders. By the end of 2 weeks, the count had crossed 5,000 messages. His friends told him to call the police. He did, but officers shrugged. She hadn't technically harmed him. Obsession wasn't illegal, so Alex tried to move on with his life. He worked his job, visited his sister, and told himself it would burn out eventually. Then, one night, he came home to find something that made his blood run cold. His dog, Max, was sitting by the door whimpering, and his front door was unlocked. Inside, everything looked normal. His TV, laptop, valuables, they were all there. But when he walked into the bathroom, his heart almost stopped. There in his tub, soaking in bubble bath with candles lit around her, was Jenna. She smiled like she belonged there. "Hi, Alex. I knew you'd come home to me." Alex's knees almost gave out. And that was only the beginning. Alex froze in the doorway, his hand still clutching the frame as if holding himself upright. The steam from the bath curled in the air, carrying the sickly sweet scent of lavender bubbles. His heart hammered in his chest, his throat dry, his mind screaming, "This isn't real." But it was. Jenna leaned back against the porcelain tub as if she had lived there all her life, her eyes half-lidded, smiling like she had been waiting for him forever. "You took too long," she whispered. "But I forgive you." Alex stumbled backward. How did you get in here?" Her laugh was light, girlish, wrong in every possible way. "The door, silly. Love opens every door." She trailed her wet fingers along the edge of the tub, eyes never leaving his. "Besides, you should want me here. This is destiny." He pulled out his phone with shaking hands and dialed 911. Jenna's smile disappeared instantly. In a flash, she was out of the tub, dripping water onto the tiles, her bare feet slapping against the floor. She snatched the phone from his hand with terrifying speed and slammed it into the water. "You don't call them. You don't need them. You need me." Her voice dropped into a chilling growl. "They can't protect you from me." Alex's survival instincts finally kicked in. He bolted out of the bathroom, grabbed his dog, and ran to the front door. But when he yanked it open, his stomach dropped. There, neatly arranged across his porch, were dozens of printed photographs of himself. Pictures of him walking to his car, at the grocery store, at the gym, even one of him asleep in his own bed. She had been watching him for weeks. Panic ripped through him. He grabbed the photos, shoved them into his jacket, and fled to his car. But before he could start the engine, a shadow appeared in the passenger seat. Jenna sat there, soaked, shivering, smiling like a ghost. "Don't leave me, Alex. You're mine now, always." And with that, she leaned forward, pressed her forehead against his, and whispered the words that made his skin crawl. "If I can't have you, no one will." Alex realized this wasn't just obsession anymore. It was war. Alex barely slept that night. Every sound outside his window felt like Jenna. Every creak of the floor made him jump. When dawn finally came, he drove straight to the police station with the soggy photographs stuffed into a folder. The officer behind the desk flipped through the pictures, frowning. "You're telling me this woman broke into your home, destroyed your phone, and left these?" "Yes," Alex snapped, his voice raw from exhaustion. "She's stalking me. I went on one date with her. One. She's out of control." The officer scribbled notes, but his tone was casual. "Look, Mr. Carter, it's creepy, sure, but until she makes a direct threat." "She did," Alex cut in. "She said, 'If I can't have you, no one will.' That's a threat." The officer glanced at him, unimpressed. "Did anyone else hear her say that?" Alex's stomach sank. Of course not. It was just him. He left the station with nothing but a flimsy report number. By afternoon, Jenna texted him from a new number. "You talk to the cops. That's okay. I'll forgive you. Love forgives everything." Alex blocked it instantly. Hours later, another text appeared, from yet another number. "You looked so handsome at the station. Blue really is your color." Alex froze. She had followed him. She was watching every move. That night, he bolted his windows shut, set up a chair against his bedroom door, and fell asleep with a baseball bat across his lap. Around 2 a.m., he woke to his dog growling low, ears pricked. Then, a whisper, right outside his window. "Alex." He held breath. The whisper grew louder, like a song. "I'll wait outside every night, because that's what love does. It waits." The next morning, Alex went to court and filed for a restraining order. It was approved within hours. Relief washed over him. Finally, protection. But when he walked out of the courthouse, Jenna was there, smiling, holding the paper in her hands. "I got one too," she chirped. "Against you." His jaw dropped. She had beaten him to the punch. In her version of the story, he was the obsessed ex who wouldn't let her go. She had filed first, painting him as the dangerous one. Now, on paper, Alex was the stalker. It was no longer just obsession. Jenna had twisted the law, bent reality itself, and turned the system against him. And Alex realized with icy dread, if she could convince the police and the court, what else could she convince people of? Alex thought things couldn't get worse. He was wrong. 2 days after Jenna filed her restraining order, his boss called him into the office. "Alex, we need to talk." She slid a folder across the desk. Inside were screenshots of emails, horrifying emails, sent from Alex's work account. They detailed violent fantasies, graphic threats, and even admissions of crimes. "I didn't write these!" Alex gasped, his chest tightening. "This isn't me!" But his boss's face was stone. "Our IT department traced the logins. They came from your home Wi-Fi." Alex's mind spun. Jenna. She had hacked him, planted the evidence, but before he could explain, the boss spoke again. "We can't take chances with the safety of our employees. You're suspended, effective immediately." He stumbled out of the building in shock. By the time he got home, 2 squad cars were parked in front of his apartment. "Alex Carter?" one officer asked. "You're under investigation for cyber harassment. We have a warrant to search your property." Alex's stomach dropped. Jenna had not just destroyed his personal life. She was dismantling his career, his freedom, his entire identity. When they searched his apartment, the officers found something he had never seen before. A hunting knife tucked under his mattress, smeared with what looked like dried blood. "That's not mine!" Alex shouted, panic rising in his throat. "I swear to you, I've never seen that before." But the officers exchanged knowing looks. Hours later, as Alex sat in a holding cell, his phone vibrated with one message from an unknown number. "Don't fight this. Just love me, and it all goes away." The next morning, he was released. No charges yet, but suspicion hung heavy. He returned home to find his front door ajar. His dog, usually bounding to greet him, was nowhere to be seen. On the kitchen table lay a collar, his dog's collar. Beside it was a note, scrawled in red ink. I can keep him safe forever. Just say you love me." Alex dropped to his knees, choking back a sob. She had taken his last piece of comfort, his best friend, the only thing that had kept him sane. And in that crushing moment, he realized something chilling. Jenna wasn't just obsessed anymore. She was escalating, fast. The next step wouldn't be text messages, fake emails, or stolen pets. The next step would be blood. Alex barely slept that night. Every creak of the floorboards, every hum of the refrigerator sounded like footsteps. He sat in the dark with a baseball bat across his lap, staring at the front door. At 2:41 a.m., it happened. The door slowly clicked open. No knock, no forced entry, just a quiet creak as if the house itself was letting her in. "Alex." Her voice was soft, almost sing-song, echoing down the hallway. "It's me, don't be scared." His heart hammered against his ribs. She had a key. Somehow she had a key. He stood, bat in hand. "Jenna, leave now or I swear." She stepped into view, barefoot, wearing his hoodie. Her eyes were wild, pupils blown wide. In one hand she held his dog's collar, in the other, a butcher knife. "You don't get it," she whispered, tears spilling down her face. "I saved you. Everyone else will hurt you, but me? I'll never leave. I'll never cheat. I'll never lie. I'm the only one who's real." Alex raised the bat, his body shaking. "Put it down." Her smile twitched. "You still don't see it? I don't want to hurt you, Alex. But if you make me..." She pressed the knife against her own arm, drawing a thin line of blood. "We'll be together one way or another, in this life or the next." He lunged, knocking the knife from her hand. They crashed to the floor, the bat clattering away. She clawed at him, nails tearing skin, screaming like a wounded animal. "Say it!" she shrieked, her face inches from his. "Say you love me!" He shoved her off and scrambled toward the bat. She lunged again, but he swung, hard. The sound of wood cracking against her shoulder made her stumble back, howling. Suddenly, blue and red lights flooded through the window. Tires screeched. The neighbors. Someone had heard the struggle and called 911. For the first time, Alex felt a flicker of hope. But as the officers pounded on the door, Jenna began to laugh, low and chilling. "You think this ends tonight?" she hissed, blood running down her arm. "No cage, no cop, no bullet will keep me away. You'll always be mine." The cops burst in, tackling her to the ground as she shrieked his name over and over, her nails scraping the floor like claws. Alex stood frozen, trembling, watching the nightmare unravel before his eyes. He should have felt relief. But instead, dread seeped deeper into his bones. Because as they dragged her out in handcuffs, Jenna twisted her head, locked eyes with him, and mouthed 3 words that chilled him to the core. "See you soon." 3 months later, Alex thought maybe life could return to normal. Jenna had been charged with stalking, breaking and entering, and attempted assault. He testified in court, shaking as her eyes burned holes through him from across the room. The judge ordered psychiatric evaluation and confinement in a state hospital. Everyone told Alex it was over, but it never felt over. The texts stopped, yes. The nightmares, not so much. He moved apartments, changed jobs, even switched phones. Still, every ring made him jump. Every stranger's face in a crowd made his stomach knot. Then one night at 1:17 a.m., his phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. He stared at the screen, his heart pounding. "Miss me?" His hands shook so badly he almost dropped the phone. He told himself it couldn't be her. Maybe spam, maybe a wrong number. But then another came. "Nice new apartment. The neighbors are loud, though." Alex froze. No one knew his new address. No one except his landlord. He grabbed the phone to dial 911, but then he heard it. A sound from the bathroom. A soft splash. His chest tightened. Slowly, he turned his head toward the closed bathroom door. Water dripped onto the tile. He moved closer, bat in hand, every nerve on fire. The door creaked as he pushed it open. The shower curtain was drawn. Behind it, shadows moved, the faint sound of humming, a tune he recognized. Her tune. He yanked the curtain open. There she was, Jenna, naked in his tub, smiling, steam curling around her. "As I said," she whispered, tilting her head, eyes locked on his. "You'll never get rid of me." And before Alex could scream, she reached beneath the bathwater and pulled something up. Gleaming metal.